Hey, good morning, everyone. This is the last show before. It's going to be the last show for about 3 weeks or so. I will be taking off to the Philippines in about I don't know, 5 days this Friday. So I don't know what my schedule is going to be, kind of going forward for the next 3 weeks or so on OTR and on this show. But I want to do one last show before the weekend and all that good stuff. So I got Fedora Kong on the way. He's grabbing a Red Bull, but let's start the show, kind of get into it. And thanks all one of you live for coming through today. All right. As we wait for Fedora Kong to come through, I just want to say thanks everyone for supporting the show. Hit that like button, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. And yeah. Hey, what's up, Comics and Tortillas? Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, check out Comic and Tortilla show. Wade, at house regular. Thanks for coming through. Yeah, well, we got a pretty cool show tonight or today. I don't know what the day is anymore, man. I've been like trying to operate on no sleep whatsoever lately, but it's all good. Yeah, yeah, again, I just wanted to do one last show before I take off for my trip, and who knows? I don't know if I'll be able to stream when I'm going international, but if I'm able to, I think it'd be kind of cool to do it, but I'm not going to count on doing it or schedule anything. So I'll try and take some good videos on my while I'm in the Philippines and all that good stuff. But yeah, just trying to get back to the basics of our show. Jason's out today. He's golfing and barbecuing all day. Or if I guess what you Southerners call a cookout, if you will. We don't really barbecue here in the Pacific Northwest, but um, and yeah, we got the man Fedora Kong coming through. What up, man? How you doing?
Yo,
Yo, what's
yo,
good?
we out here.
We are out here. Golf is whack. Yeah, golf is whack. Um,
Golf is definitely whack.
it's the most like I'm never like good at it. I never want to take lessons to get better at it. But I'll wear the golf gear, man. I'll wear Nike golf all day, but just never got into it. But yeah, Jason's golfing today. That's why he's not here.
Is
But
it really?
yeah, his dedication is horrible. But it's all right. We got you. We got Fedora Khan today. It's all good, man.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. He wants to come on one of these days like with you, so I'll set that up. Um just because he doesn't know a lot about like anime. Like he got me into anime actually, honestly, like back in like the 90s, but he doesn't know about current stuff like you do. So he was telling me, yeah, he wants to do a show with you while you're live and all that good stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah,
bring them on.
yeah,
Bring
I
them.
will. Yeah, we
That,
will
that's
we'll
that's Jay Money right there.
yeah, dog. His schedule's a little better now, so we might do a weekday show. We'll see. I'll see what your schedule is too, man. So how's the new gig at Midtown?
I haven't started yet, but
Oh, okay.
uh, I mean, I got the job because I just walked in and the manager was like, "Yo, you want to work here?" And I was like, "Well, I am on unemployment." And then they're like, "All right, just speak to." I mean, I already knew everyone. I've been shopping there for like 15 years, so they were just like, "Yeah, just fill this out,
Yeah.
show up." And but I'm not too excited at the prospect of like dealing with the speculators because they're in front of the store at like 6 a.m. lined up.
What
I'm
time is
not
your store open?
8 a.m.
Like every Wednesday?
Yeah.
Is speculation that hot in New York? I mean,
Yeah, it kind of is. Like, there's one dude that's like, he's lined up. Like, he's the first dude every day. He's known because he has like a beach chair in the front of the store, and he shows up every day at six. Oh, not every day, but every Wednesday at 6 a.m. with his beach chair, and he's just chilling. Um, so we get like a line of like 10, 15, 20 people during the peak of like the speculation. We were getting like 30 people in like
oh,
a
I'm sure.
line. It was ridiculous. And then they have like an outlet in Astoria where they kind of put all like they had a whole bunch of like backstock stuff that they put 40% off on. And a lot of people drop off their collections. And one day there was in a dollar bin, like not even joking. It was like an Adam Hughes book of Supergirl on top of a meteorite.
Yeah,
And
I know a book you're talking about. Yeah.
it was $1. It was in the dollar bin.
Jesus.
And ever since then, like you get like 10, 15 guys that show up to the outlet every Sunday when the new books come in for the dollar bin.
That's just different world to me, man. I don't think I could do that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know these guys. A lot of these guys eat, sleep, and breathe. It's what they do. They screamed at me before one day. It was ridiculous. So I'm not too as a customer, if I'm getting screamed at, I'm not too excited about how they would treat the workers, but we'll see, I guess.
That's so trippy to me, dude. Like, I don't understand that at all, man. Like, whatever. I mean, I'm not gonna hate on it. It is what it is. But speaking of spec and Wade, I kind of agree with you. I feel like the Wednesday Warrior, it's just tougher. I think it's expectation. I think for me, I think it's a lot of expectation versus like demand supply, right? But like more so like everyone wants that Spider Boy. Fuck, I don't even know. They want this book right here. Where is it? You know, they want the My Little Pony 1 in 10.
Yeah.
You know,
How much is that?
It's dropped.
$45.
So $70 a week ago. It's down to 45. But
FOC.
Y'all do your FOC. You know, like because that's is what it is, man. I just report the market here. You know what I mean? So, yeah. We got Lalo in the chat, a homie from Edmonds here, and then Manny, the Hobgoblin Collector. I thought Manny, you were on the West Coast. I didn't know you were East Coast.
Yo, Manny, that's because these guys they're at the outlet waiting at 9 a.m. when it opens at 11 a.m. They're there, Manny. If you're not there before 2-3 hours before it opens, like they're foaming at the mouth, they're scratching at the doors, they're trying to break in. They're like zombies. They're speculation zombies.
What's up, Bronze Age? Andre's in the house. Thank you for joining, my friend. Oh, he's in Long Island. Oh, okay, that's cool. Man, I had no idea. I thought you were a West Coast homie, but that's cool. Well, I've never been there before, so. But yeah, Fedora, thanks for joining me today, man. We'll get back to our kind of regular Friday cycle. I had a couple of people asking, "Hey, where's your Friday show at?" I'm like, "Oh man, I've been so busy with the wedding, and like I haven't even been able to like schedule a time with you." But we're doing a little bit of comic book in the beginning and a little Pokemon anime at the end here. So thanks everyone. It's going to be a little bit of a longer show today, but I will do giveaway at the end for everyone coming through. Again, I will not be doing a show for the next couple of weeks. So I'll be out of the country in the Philippines, getting married, all that good stuff. So, but let's get with the show. You don't want to hear me talk about wedding stuff. So let's do this. I did not show Fedora this presentation yet. I kind of want to surprise him with some stuff, but today I want to talk about top 10 modern comic books with long-term intrinsic value. This is just my opinion. Take it for whatever it is. I'm sure you'll disagree with a couple of these, but I was just kind of thinking like, so, with comic books being what they are. Oh, lol, you're going to SECC. Have fun, man. Comic books being what they are, it's like, I mean, like I just showed that My Little Pony, right? It was $70 a week ago. It's down 35% from highs. Dude, this is like, it's tough. And like, whatever. If you're going to try and flip books, FOC, all that stuff, like, that's cool.
The market for speculation is struggling if your number one FOC is My Little Pony. Like, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah. I just can't imagine like taking that book and putting it on my wall and being like, oh, look, friend, like there's my graded 9.8 My Little Pony. It's just me. Call it hate, whatever it is. But from a value standpoint, though, like I just can't. I wouldn't be able to say I bought that for $10 to $20 and it's gonna have long-term value. It just has this pop. All collectibles really do have one. I mean, like in sports, it's pretty common as well. But I feel like the drop in comic book like flipping is so fast. I mean, to go from a $10 book to 70 to 45 within a 2-week span. That's just too much, man. And you're gonna lose collectors that way. You know what I mean?
With like, with, I don't know, bro. Like, FOC is always like whatever to me.
I just can't, man. I just can't like it's good if like you're like generally interested in like a story, and you're like, oh shoot, like I want to get 2 or 3 copies because I think the market is not going to hit demand, right? And then they make sell a couple, whatever. But like if you're buying like 5 to 10 or 5 to 10 different issues of multiple copies, like that's just ridiculous, man.
I agree.
That's you're wasting your money thinking you're gonna pay rent, all that shit. What's up, Andre? Thanks for coming through. And Black Crown Comics, I think you got a show tonight. I have it on my tabs here, but Black Crown joined us from the country up north, and yeah, I think he does a show at 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 Eastern every Sunday. It's a good way to wrap up your weekend if you're a comic book collector. So yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. I thought of this show or the subject because whether the comic holds its value or goes above the value buy it in, or like not flipping it or whatever, I wanted to highlight some comic books that I feel like will either hold their value or will gradually go up in time, perhaps based on MCU speculation, just popularity or whatever. It was kind of a tough list to put together, but I want to know your opinion, Fedora, and let's just get into it. I only got 9 books today, so okay. I don't know what happened. My hold on 1 second here. Let me check this out real quick. Let me get it. Okay, whatever.
Is 499 449? That's the first Thunderbolts.
Correct, and I had no idea why it's not showing up. This is weird. Okay, my bad. But yes, it is. It is the first Thunderbolts. Here, let me get this up here real quick. I don't know what the hell happened to my. That's the only one that's messed up. All right, well, whatever.
Oh, I can see it. Right. Oh, there we go. We're back.
Okay, yeah, Incredible Hulk 449. Now, I know there's speculation, obviously, with this is the first appearance of the Thunderbolts. Speculation wise, right? You got the MCU spec. The show's coming up. Whatever, that's cool. The reason I highlight this book is for a couple reasons. One, first team villain appearances don't really hold their value, but this is such a tough 9.8, and I'm specific to Incredible Hulk 449 in high grade. At one point they were going for like $1,000.
I remember that.
But people were picking up like $99 copies and like sending them to CGC and getting like 8.5s or like 9.0s. And like the value was going for under raw because
I can't imagine like back when this first book dropped, everybody was like, yo, you better bag and board this because it's gonna be a hit.
Bro, I was probably 16. I was like 14 when this book came out. And like when I was a kid, everyone actually dug this book. I think there was a lot of anticipation of the Thunderbolts series coming out. I remember when I was a kid. But yeah, you're exactly right. Like no one was bagging and boarding this. It was that weird paper that attracted a lot of dirt. So I feel like a 9.8 in this book will hold long-term value based off of a beloved villain spec and just the story of how they're like, how the Thunderbolts become villains eventually. The story is pretty cool. But yeah, you want a 9.698 in this for like long term, and I don't think it'll go up a ton unless the Thunderbolts series just like, or if Thunderbolts just like kills it, and Baron Zemo just is like kind of like the villain that everyone's liking, then I think it'll at least hold its value around $400 to $500. But there's a newsstand as well. The whole thing with newsstands and whatnot.
Obviously, you got to get the newsstand.
Yeah. But man, this is just such a tough 9.8 in this book, man. Have you ever read this book before?
Me? No. I back in that time, I was more of a Valiant kid. and that's mainly because my family was poor. So my LCS was like, it was a half like bodega and it was a half LCS. So they had like you pay $1 and then you get a pack of like random assortment of like random comics in like a poly bag, and it was
Right.
always Valiant. So my Marvel and was Valiant. I grew up with Bloodshot,
Yeah.
X-O Man of War. So I can't say that I've read too much Marvel or DC early 90s. It was only
Early
like
90s.
Malibu Comics and Valiant, unfortunately, due to financial reasons.
No, man, like, I mean, that was what you got though, right? I mean, you were just able to get what was around you,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, like this was kind of my wheelhouse because I went from like Image down to Marvel kind of stuff. So, I do remember this book like on the shelf, man. So that ages me a little bit, but yeah, it's my first pick here. So a little more modern stuff, or a little more, pandemic, quote unquote, like right before a pandemic hit. But Immortal Hulk was just, I mean, everyone was talking about this book, or the series, I should say. Obviously, if you don't know the tone of Immortal Hulk, it was, it dug deeper into the like the darkness and the darkness of like Hulk. Al Ewing just killed the series.
Al Ewing killed it so bad, like he did so good.
Yeah.
That what came after that, people were like, "What the hell?"
Right.
Like,
And the new Hulk series is like kind of going back to that kind of that darkness, you know what I'm saying? So credit to Al Ewing and these Alex Ross covers, like every single cover is like, and I feel like this was like right in the middle of when the speculation boom really hit, because copies ordered of this book is like, I think 40 to 50K, might be less than that. But I didn't think of this book as like more speculation, but kind of like, if your Immortal Hulk run is going to be, I feel remembered as like one of the top stories or books of like the 2020s, 2019,
yeah,
2020s, right?
I would say, in my opinion, like I didn't read too much of it, but
Yeah.
I think the influence of Ewing and what he did was that's gonna be felt for like people are gonna look at Hulk, from like here up until now, and they're gonna think Al Ewing, kind of like how we think, Dan Slott with Spider-Man and et cetera, et cetera. So it's going to be hard for people, not future writers, not to be influenced by what Ewing did with Immortal Hulk, in my opinion.
100. Yeah, I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head right there for sure. I think, like, when you have a friend that's like, "Oh, I want to get into comic books. What do I read?" I'm always gonna say Century. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say like Spider-Man 794 through 800, or maybe 799. I'm gonna say Immortal Hulk, just to get them, interested into reading books, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. Yeah, it didn't finish strong, so the full run hurts a bit. I stopped at like 15, but I loved this story, and I kind of regret selling this book. I had like a couple copies, and I just always pick it up. But like I remember, like this was one of the first books when I got back into reading in 2016 that I like read like a few times over, because I didn't understand it ultimately, but I just enjoyed it, So this doesn't go for a ton of money, but my thought process is, if I'm looking at this run, I'm getting number 1, I'm getting 2, and I'm getting 12.
And
Those are
don't
like,
forget the second prints. Get the second prints, because
is there a second print on this book?
there might be. I'm not too sure, but I remember around when these were coming out,
Yeah.
second prints were like very low print and sought after for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, the
But
third, fourth, fifth, it was like that. These were like one of the original series where like second, third print runs were like big. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
yeah. This goes for like 185, 80 to $100 98.
really,
Yeah, it's really inexpensive. I mean, I'm not really going after like the MCU spec on Hulk. I mean, this is not a spec MCU play. This is purely if you loved this series,
if you could get a signature series,
yeah, if you get an Alex Ross like signature, like Lalo was saying in the chat there.
Oh, I
Like,
can't read the chat, so
oh, you
if I
can't?
say something you said, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. No, it's all good. No, Lalo was just saying like that Alex Ross cover. So like, yeah, he says Alex Ross.
Oh, okay.
And I know he's a big Alex Ross fan. So but yeah, man, this is so some of these books aren't like, oh, buy this because like a show's coming out. Because I think that's kind of like that whole thing has died down a bit. So and issue 2 is sick, man. That cover of Dr. Shit, I can't remember his name, but that cover is like probably my favorite cover of the whole run. That
Isn't
number
there
2
like
issue.
a print of him of his first appearance on the cover?
Yeah. There's like it's like a second or third print, I think, on the first issue.
Mm-hmm.
It's later down the road. There was some speculation with that book, and it's a great cover. But I mean, the fact you got Alex Ross to do every single one of these covers, it was so good. I think they lost me in Bronze Age. You're the kind of kicking back to this comment when they did that. I think issue 25, one in like 500 print. I was like, okay, like they're just trying to make money, which is fine. Is what it is. But they kind of lost me at that point. So I had this on my pull list for a while. This is kind of an obvious one, but I feel like this book like shot up big time, right? Like $1,200. It's the first full appearance of like, the whole team. This book came out in what, 2016, 2017,
I have
right?
no idea about Star Wars.
Okay.
I only know Shadows of the Empire, and beyond that, I'm lost. But I do dabble in Star Wars a little bit.
Yeah.
And I know the speculation with Star Wars is crazy because there's always new characters. And I said this before, and you disagreed with me. I said that if you take a dart and you line up all the Star Wars books and you just throw it randomly, you'll probably land on a speculation book. But the thing, in my opinion,
no, I agree with you 100%, man. Because like, dude, it's like, it's dumb.
so the thing with throwing the dart, it's not where the dart lands, it's kind of predicting out of all the speculation books. It's speculating the speculation, like which one is gonna hit. And I know a lot of people. I see this book a lot, like everywhere. I don't know anything about it, but I know people love it. Maybe you could tell me.
No, well, specifically because of this book. So I don't know if you saw the Ahsoka trailer, but some people I know didn't like it. You always have people that are like, oh, I didn't enjoy it, which is, there's a lot of trailers I don't enjoy.
Ahsoka's like the hot alien chick, right?
Yeah, Rosario Dawson's playing Ahsoka. Yeah.
That's a good casting, actually.
You liked it?
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I didn't like love it. I think because I haven't seen enough of her play the character.
I'm clueless. Like I'm a
casual.
I'm like a middle-aged dad when it comes to like Star Wars. Like, oh all right. So for me to be completely like, I don't know anything about Star Wars, I guess you get that perspective of like, I think that's neat. I like Rosario Dawson. I think she's a good actor. She looks like the character from what I've seen, the little I've seen. So
I thought they did a good job with like the costume or the makeup and whatever. But there's a scene with Sabine Wren, who this is her first full appearance in this book as well. She's at a mural of the team, and she's like kind of like having like a memory kind of thing, and with the mural. And I just kind of thought that scene kind of hit me where like it's obvious that this team's going to come to live action. They want this character in live action, or this team in live action. And the other thing with this book, so on my list, I thought of like, okay, how hard is it to get a high grade in this book?
I don't know how many. They got some black in the bottom, right?
So this is like a different type of thing with this book specifically. Hey, what's up, Vinny? Vinny's gonna be SDCC. If you guys see Vinny Kumar, my homie Vinny, say what's up to Vinny. And AOA in the chat. Thank you for coming through, man. That means so much to me. Sorry. So every single time I've seen this book in a collection, and I wonder if have you ever seen this book like in the wild or like whatever?
Never. I've never seen it, and I know I don't really go to a lot of LCSs. I've only ever went to Midtown Comics when I was old enough to like venture out. So I've been going there for like 15 years consistently. Um, and they have like a lot of wall books. They get some crazy stuff. And
Okay.
that book I've never seen. They get a lot of Star Wars. They get a lot of really, really big keys. And I've never seen that book on a
So
wall.
yeah, so I've seen it like every time I've gone in a collection, like, oh, I have these Star Wars canon books. Like, I've only like gone in 3 or 4 collections, or been asked to press it, and I'm shocked at this Bronze Age. And I got to look more into CGC census listings or whatever. Every book I've come into contact with, it has like either like gum or like milk spilled on it, or like macaroni, like just kid food. So what I mean by that is, so in my opinion, just based off of my small sample size, like it's hard in high grade. So I guess if there's 1,000 in there, but there's like 10,000 people that want a 9.8, like the supply and demand's there, right? But kids that read this book, because obviously they did, because there's like food and crap on it, right? They're probably like 9 to 10 years old, whatever, right? In 10 years from the point of this book coming out, they're gonna have jobs. The show is probably going to be closer to the timeline where we're going to live action. It's kind of that perfect storm of, I want this book in high grade. This is like nostalgic for me, and it's coming into live action, which is kind of what has propped up the speculation game. I feel like a $400 to $500 9.8 paying for this, or like maybe even lower than that, just with the economy where it's at, might not be such a bad play.
Well,
I think
Star Wars is massive, right? So
Star Wars is massive, and I think specifically like this series, like the Rebels like show. I don't know if you ever watch it, but it's like the most rewatchable 3 to 4 season Star Wars specific show that I think you can watch like repeatedly over and over again. In my opinion, I watched it twice, and I'm not like a big Star Wars guy. I was like during the Phantom Menace days, because like I was in high school, and like that's what it was. But
I only saw one Star Wars movie ever.
Which one's that?
I saw Star Wars Episode 1 the day it came out. My mom took me to see it, and I was like blown away by Darth Maul.
I know, and then they kill him.
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone was like that.
I thought I was gonna see him again as a kid, because reading comics is like, but is he really dead? Is he really?
And he's not. He get like in the video game, he's like back in like Darth Maul, son of Dorthamir. They gotta bring him back, man, somehow. He's such a cool character. Like, I remember I was in high school, dude. I was like 17 when that movie came out, and like Darth Maul was a shit, and he has this fight scene with Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's like pretty tight, and then like, there's that scene where he gets cut, and you're like kind of like, what's going on? And then he falls, and then he splits in half. You're like, what the fuck? And
yeah,
then,
yo, bro.
Yeah,
that year, I was like, Mom, Halloween, Darth Maul.
Yeah, I mean, to this day, I mean, there's still kids that would just use the eyes. They wouldn't do like the whole costume, but like the eyes inspired that. Those contact eyes that make your eyes all red. So Bronze Age hits on a very good point. The whole pre-first appearance. So Star Wars Kanan 1, I think the variants are a good play as well. I just highlighted Kanan 6 because like, the market's funny. And this cover, I just love this cover too. So anyway. And before I get into this, I just want to say thanks. We got some new faces in the live chat, so I appreciate all the new faces. We are going to do a giveaway at the end. I am kind of taking track of like who's in the chat, so I'm going to do some Tomb Raider 1 books. I got like 3 Tomb Raider 1 variants. I know that I know with the writer strike, everything's kind of on hold again, but I know that they've talked about, it's been in talks for a show. I wanted to give away those books to the community just as a thank you before I leave for the Philippines. Fedora, I'm going to put you in the giveaway too, just because you're my dude. So yeah, might as well, right? As a thank you to you or whatever. So actually, you know what? I'll take that back. I'm not going to put you in the giveaway, but I'm going to send you something as kind of a thank you for
bro.
Just whatever. Yeah, I got you, man. And yeah, man, every weekend, man, I do a show. Yeah, but hit that like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we're almost halfway done with my list here, and then we'll scoot over to Fedora's amazing anime Pokemon list. But so Metal Gear Solid, I put MSG. Man, I put Madison Square Garden was on my mind. I don't know why. And so this is so Metal Gear.
I like that book.
You like this cover?
Yeah, I like Metal Gear, man. I think with video game comics is really hard. Well, because you know, not many of them ever get printed.
Right.
And they're so niche. So when you get like a big property like Metal Gear Solid,
Right.
In my opinion, it's always good to hold on to it, because I feel like Metal Gear Solid with Hideo Kojima, he's such a powerhouse in gaming, and they've been trying to get this into a movie for like, I don't know, like maybe 2 decades now. So if they could get a good movie going, and this could be like a really, really good movie, I think it's got some solid foundation to stand on.
Yeah, man. And like this, talk about foundation. Like, okay, bro, like you're a PlayStation. Are you more a PlayStation dude or Xbox, or like what's your game of choice? Like
Uh,
system?
I mainly grew up with. I had all consoles when I was a kid, mainly
Yeah.
because I grew up in like a really bad neighborhood. But the little bit of money that my family did have to keep me away from like the violence, they just
Yeah.
bought me consoles, and they were like, "All right, don't go outside."
Yeah.
So I had all consoles, but I played mostly Sega.
Okay.
But when Metal Gear Solid did come out, I think that was like 98, 99. I played it maybe a year and a half after it was released. It was nothing that I had ever seen before. It was crazy. It was cinematic. It was espionage. It was a good story. The voice acting was great. I went from Duke Nukem to Metal Gear Solid. Like I played.
No,
So
I feel you on that, because like when I think of like top games that I played when I was a kid that I would love to replay like over and over again, or like you spend so many hours in a game, right? And like I feel the nostalgia is more hitting with a video game versus like a comic book. I still get that nostalgia because you can reread it, but it's 5 to 10 minutes, you're done. Metal Gear, it could be like days, and then on top of that, you may bring a homie over and be like my buddy Jason, like, hey, come on through. I can't beat this level. Help me out. Let me watch you play it in the background while I eat a pizza. Oh, let's get some sodas and like whatever, and like just chill. I don't want to go out with the friends. Let's just play Metal Gear all weekend, that kind of shit, right?
Mhm.
This is like my third most favorite game franchise, like ever.
And
So
Metal Gear is synonymous with PlayStation 1, which is also like,
exactly,
so I think when you think PlayStation 1, you think Metal Gear. So I mean, I think it's good.
yeah, man. And this one specifically, so the IDW put this book out a few years ago. This is the graham cracker variant. So it was some type, like I didn't have time to really look in how to get it, but I saw the market, and it's like 4 to 500
Yeah,
9.8.
that's a
Yeah,
lot. Like, that cover's ugly, by the way.
it's
That
I kind of
cover's-
dig it. This is the reason I dig it is because his hair is fucked up, but like in like in some parts of the game, like I think in 2 or 3, I can't remember which one, but when they do, like they go back in time and some dude's talking, and then they'll like show kind of like pictures and sketches of like just like Solid Snake or whomever. That's kind of what it reminded me of. That's why I kind of dig this cover. But you're right, his hair looks really ugly for sure. And then
$500. Look, this that cover better be nice.
yeah, I base it off the rarity.
No, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't put that on my wall though and be like, "Yo, you see this?"
bro, you don't like this? And I think like in a way, Metal Gear is like it. Yeah, I mean it. Like when the PlayStation 5 came out, I was asking Vinny in the chat, or I think I was asking Vinny or someone. I was like, "Hey, if there's a new Metal Gear coming out, or did they just end the franchise?" And I know they're revamping like 2 and 3. There's like there's like actually a board game. There's also like a collector's edition of the old school games that they're putting into like one deal.
Yeah.
But
So for me, if Hideo Kojima ain't attached to it, I'm not interested. You know, and like
That's a good point.
for me, like I think that for me, it feels like a cash grab, honestly, because I feel like if they were gonna do, you know, something true to the fans, they would, you know, remake. They would go back to the beginning, remake the very first games, and then go in chronological order, like do Metal Gear for Nintendo, Metal Gear Snake's Revenge. You know, just completely remake the Nintendo ones, the ones that nobody ever got to play, the ones that were for the the Metal Gear, the PC engines. You know, they could remake those. There's so many Metal Gear games that are like, you know, that are essential to the story and the understanding, like the lore and the world and the universe, that they could just remake. You know, and then I don't know. It just feels like a. It doesn't really feel like a honest attempt for me. I don't know. I feel like Capcom is doing a better job at revamping their IPs than Konami is, but without
Uh,
Metal Gear, I mean, without not Metal Gear, without Kojima, it just seems, I don't know, it just seems like a cash grab to me. That's just me. I don't know.
no, I mean, it's kind of like, you know, like when, for example, I mean, Tolkien, right? I'm going old school. So the new Amazon show was like cool, but like it's never gonna have that original. It's not like, yeah, if you don't have the original, like the guy or the writer that like put the nostalgia or the storyline into tact, it's tough,
Like
right?
you feel the void, like you'll feel
Yeah,
it because
and you're
Kojima,
gonna look for it too. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
he's he's so like Kojima is so obsessed with his work, like just really, like he's really into it. And I just feel like that lack of quality control and that lack of his presence being felt, I feel like it might, I don't know. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. No, it's a good point. I mean, because like once you and I was asking Gator like which one Snake's Revenge. I think they're revamping that. That's the one they're revamping on PS5. I want to say my favorite Metal Gear, I have to say, is the first one they put on, or the one they put out for PS3. I think that's like when Snake's like he's like,
That's Metal Gear Solid 4. Snake Eater is, it's Snake Eater is the one that they're remaking. Portable Ops, I think, is the chronologically the first one,
okay,
and after Portable Ops, it's Peace Walker. Then after Peace Walker is Snake Eater. Then after Snake Eater, I think it's I want to say, yeah, I want to say it's the Nintendo ones. I like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
really,
yeah.
I know the timeline, but
The Nintendo ones were so dumb, but they were so good. Those are tough. Yeah, but no, yeah,
but
yeah. I wonder if they'll like do like more comics with like specific to like the timelines and then the main protagonist and antagonist. So it'll be, that might be a cash grab too, but like anyway. So and then Resident Evil, another one of my picks here. So this is not the comic book, it's the comic book magazine, quote unquote. So I've been trying to get into the magazine video game kind of collectibles market because I think it's quote unquote in its infancy. You know, we talk about that on OTR every Thursday at 6:30 Pacific. That was good.
plug the show.
No, but for real, we like really the reason I've actually stayed on the show, not only because the guys are really awesome, but like actually the reason I got into the show was because of the different collectibles that are on that show. But what I really like is the magazine and video game aspect of collecting. Um, Magazines are a little different. So for all you 9/8 like snobs out there, which present company included, it just does not happen in magazines. Like it's so hard unless you have like a brand new magazine or for some other reason like you just didn't
You
touch
got
that
a case.
magazine.
You got like a case of the magazine somewhere.
Yeah,
In New York, in a lot of the retro game stores, they have like in New York City, we have like a few big ones, 8-bit and up, Video Games New York, Brooklyn Game Shack. They have stacks of these, like stacks of these, and they're selling it for nothing.
yeah.
They have
Exactly. Yeah, because it's just taking up space, right? But they're not
yeah,
going to get rid of it. Um,
Nintendo Power, PlayStation, Sega
yeah,
magazine.
yeah. It always says, "Boo!" Anything that's a different size of a comic. Um, I will say this though. I think CGC is kind of they're kind of understanding the differences in the market and like what this could be in the next few years. I saw 9.4 of this go for like 300, 350.
That's crazy.
So again, it's the Resident Evil magazine. It's not the comic book. Who did this cover? Jim Lee did the cover.
What?
Yeah, so it's a Jim Lee cover. It doesn't really look Jim Lee to me, but it's a Jim Lee cover. And I'm sorry, I don't know if Jim Lee did this cover, but there's a Jim Lee cover included. My thought process with this book specifically, because it's a Resident Evil magazine, get it in a 9.4, send it to CGC, get Jim Lee's signature, have them press and grade it, and hopefully get it higher than 9.4. I still think it's a good buy with it being signed. You know how people are. That was kind of my thought process with this. Resident Evil being, synonymous with PlayStation, one of those games, I mean, that you played with the lights off and it scared the shit out of you back in 1996, 95. And, the movies were actually okay when they came out of the gate. Since then, they've done like, it's turned into the Fast and the Furious franchise where they just do like 500 different shows. I'm so confused with the whole like Resident Evil world. Um, and I thought about this. This may be kind of like just grabbing at like little, just like, just trying to grab at like everything possible. But I feel like with the onset of like AI and games you play, just like, on your face kind of thing, like VR, Resident Evil could really take off, or like that kind of genre of video games could really take off and hit that kind of market with being in like goggles and like being like AR and all that and all that stuff. I don't know. That's kind of out there, but that could push this like collectible to higher rates or whatnot. So, what do you think, man?
I think the Resident Evil fan base is uh I think it's the Resident Evil fan base is hardcore, man. I would say that they're more hardcore than Metal Gear Solid fans, where Metal Gear Solid is more like a. They're both mainstream, but I feel like Metal Gear Solid is a little more mainstream than Resident Evil,
Uh huh.
and whereas Resident Evil has like a really really crazy hardcore fan base that they just buy the memorabilia. I think
Yeah.
in one of our past shows we highlighted the manga series, the Resident Evil manga series that went for like I don't know, like $200-300 for like the lot. Um, so it doesn't surprise me that people are paying 300 for a greater Resident Evil. But I think like anything Resident Evil related, whether it's a number one, whether it's a manga, whether it's a magazine, it's always good to scoop it up, especially if you can get out a good deal.
Yeah, man. What's up with Bam? Nice show on Beyond Wednesdays last night. What's up? BA. Oh, Bronze Age nerd. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, Bronze Age. I was delighted to see you on Beyond Wednesdays last night. I kind of had you guys in the background, but yeah, it was kind of cool to see BAN in there. So that's cool. Let's see here, man. Respect. Do I have you in the? Okay, okay. I was checking to see if Mad Respect was in the giveaway. And Lalo's gonna go to NYSC or SDCC, NYSC, SDCC, and see if he can get his X-Men 4 9.8 crack to have Jim Lee at. It might not be bad. I mean, why not, right? So let's see here. We got next. So this is like for me, like I don't give a shit about like what y'all are doing with your money or whatever, but man, and I like Jason was talking or Pickles was talking about this last show. I think you and I like talked about this on like our chats and whatnot after we saw the movie. Man, I had little expectation for this movie for a spec. I just want to go in and enjoy a movie, and I wouldn't say I loved it. I'd say I really did have a fun time watching it though. But who really just like shocked me in out of the whole entire show, all the characters, and I think this is kind of like general consensus. Spider-Punk just stole the freaking show. And he didn't do shit. He just was there. You know what I mean? He just chilled. It was perfect. Talk about it, man. Talk to me.
I think you know the big issue with Marvel is or comics. But I'll just say comics across the board. The big guys, Marvel and DC, is that they have like a really hard time creating new characters, and even more so is when they do create new characters, people aren't really interested in them, even if they are good. So they got to go to the next best thing, the mantles, you know, and then people hate that. So when you see Spider-Punk and how he's resonated with, you know, the fans on like multiple levels, and he's kind of just inching away to mainstream status, that's a sign that, like, you know, if he could break that, oh, I'm tired of Mantle's barrier, he's set. So and I think that he did that. And there's a lot of I feel like people resonate with him because of, you know, the current political landscape that we're in, where, you know, inflation, people kind of upset with, you know, the way the economy's going, and he's kind of like that counterculture of like anarchy. I don't care. I'm just chilling. I don't really care about what's going on. Like, yo, like, here, just leave, bro. Like, I'm not with, you know, the patriarchy or whatever. And I think people really like that about his character, just because the way the world is going. I don't want to get too political, but
Yeah.
Spider-Punk is a political character, and I think that he checks off so many boxes of how people feel about society. He has a cool design. He's just a nonchalant dude. So I think he's a strong contender for, like, you know, Miles is Miles is the king right
Mantle?
now,
Yeah.
but he could be at some point, you know, following up, you know, to not really be as big as Miles, but be the second closest thing to him.
You know, what he reminded me of, like, not so much as like a like 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 the personality so much, but just kind of um like, I'll just say it. He reminds me of Wolverine. Not like, not that he's like an angry dude or just kind of like a badass, but how, you know how like in X-Men, like the, I know growing up when I was watching X-Men, the cartoon, it was like Cyclops was always like leading the team, and you know Wolverine just kind of showed up when he really wanted to.
Yeah, he
That's
doesn't
kind of
care.
that's kind of what I think the role, like what you're talking about, that Spider Punk could have. I don't read his single issue because like I felt like, or I don't read his solo series because I felt like it didn't really, like they didn't really gravitate towards like Spider Punk so much. They just gravitated to more like different characters in that universe. And we're trying to push the whole mantle when it's like, I think that's what Marvel messes up on for me. They make a character like Tosin, or like, or just name a character. It gets a little bit of like street level like cred, right? And then they make a mini series about it, or they mention that character in books, but they don't really specifically mention. They don't really talk about the character. They create more characters around that character. So you're just like, wait, like you have the Wolverine, or like the, you know, the other character apart from your main character. Why are you introducing more? Like you already won. You already won the readers over. So just concentrate on that. That's kind of what Spider-Punk did for me in the movie. It took me back to that kind of like off character that is kind of, that could be a main character but doesn't necessarily want to be. That's kind of what I took from it. So
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, that's what I like. And I was seeing in like an anime convention. This is an anime convention.
Oh, did we lose you?
In an anime convention. So when people are showing up to anime conventions cosplaying as an American comic book character, that's already, and the dude that cosplayed him, he's big on TikTok now. He got a bunch of followers. He was doing a bunch of interviews. Like, you know, everybody really loved that cosplay. So once I see that, it's like Spider-Man 10. That's like that's a big book in my opinion.
Yeah,
I can
and
afford it.
yeah, it's kind of out of my price range right now, but like I mean I saw like Raws were asking for like 400 to 500. This is a
Raw?
tough, yeah, asking. I don't, they weren't selling that for that much, but this is a tough 9.8 just with the color rub, and there's another variant of it as well. You can get the regular A cover, which is cool, but I mean, I think if you're going for a long term, put on your wall, that kind of thing, you got to go for this guy and a 9.8. I don't know if the chat knows what this goes currently for in a 9.8, but I know it's pretty expensive because it is a tough high grade. So, and I want to do a little DC spec or sorry, DC spec, DC love, I guess you could say. I get a lot of hate for this, but hold on a second here. I get a lot of hate for this, but I'm a big Flash CW fan.
Nah, I mean, but that's a great show.
I I've been looking for this book because out of all the villains in the CW Arrowverse or whatever, this dude's like my favorite villain. And
Reverse Flash, right?
yeah, Hunter Solomon, or yeah, Hunter Solomon. He's the villain in the second season. I don't know what they're gonna do with Flash like going forward. I don't know with Ezra Miller. I was really disappointed with the Flash movie, but like
I don't even want to talk about that.
yeah, if Ezra Miller continues, like I didn't like that version of Flash. I like the CW version better, but they have so much potential with introducing these villains. And out of all the villains of Flash, I was like, man, I'd buy this for like 130 to 150, 9.8. I wouldn't pay any much more than that. I like the cover. I think it pops. It just shows how angry and like villainous he is. And the yellow costume. Some people hate on it. I like it, but I don't know, man. What do you think of? What do you think of? And the Reverse Flash is out there too, but like I dig this one better because it's modern. What do you think, man?
I don't know anything about Flash. This is
Mm.
this not Reverse Flash? I'm not.
It's like he is Reverse Flash, but he's not the OG Reverse Flash.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
So I was right.
yeah,
I think the Flashpoint movie or whatever the Flash movie with Ezra Miller, I think they kind of fucked up with not establishing a good villain, you know,
yes.
and
Thank you. Yeah, yeah,
and I think that Reverse Flash could have, whichever version could have worked. And I just think that they made like a lot of clumsy mistakes that were just like no brainers, you know. I mean, I honestly, in my opinion, and this is kind of controversial, I would have much rather had seen Jeffrey Dean Morgan as Thomas Wayne than Michael Keaton, and then have Reverse Flash there, because
that would have been cool. Yeah,
we got a lot of cameos that ultimately didn't really mean much. Like we got to see the OG Superman, we got to see Nicolas Cage Superman, but they didn't really do anything with them.
they
You
just
know?
showed him.
Yeah, and I feel like that hurt the movie. Like if Nicolas Cage came in and fought with Zod, and they had Reverse Flash in there too, fighting alongside Zod, or you know, Reverse Flash found a way to bring Zod back. You know, do something interesting. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, and Bronze Age. Just want to highlight this real quick. He Flash spec peaked, and it wasn't impressive.
You know, it's
And
so crazy. I didn't even know there was Flash spec. So, so
there, I mean, I told you right there. And Lalo actually he did enjoy the Flash movie. So there and like a lot of people like gave shit about the CGI in the movie.
I didn't
I
think
dug it.
that was bad.
I thought it was okay, but like man, so this is my thing about the Flash movie is like people say, why didn't you like it? I'm like, because it was a Flash movie with Superman villains. How are you gonna have a Flash movie with no when Flash has some of the coolest, like easiest characters to like cast or just or just whatever. How are you not gonna have one of them? it just confused the heck out of me. I don't know. Um, I guess you can look at it as like possibly a buying opportunity. I don't really want to do the buy the dip thing, but like James Gunn hasn't really done any made announcements of what he's going to do with Flash, right? So as a collector, though, it might be an opportunity to buy this for like I said, 129.8. It's a modern book. It came out a few years ago, but if you're a fan of the show, like why not? So anyway, this is like kind of a random thing, but like okay, so I love Al Pacino not because of this movie,
I feel like we spoke about this like when we first
long time ago.
yeah. And I was like, yo, like this might be a good book.
Yeah,
We
dog.
saw one signed by Al Pacino on eBay
For like $1,200, man. It's expensive. But you know what? How often is you gonna find an Al Pacino autographed Scarface comic book with his photo on it? You know what I mean?
Where are you gonna find Al Pacino signed stuff anywhere? I've never seen it prior to this. Well, maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but
No, there was like an Ace Comic Con convention like announcement, and they were gonna do one. Supergirl was badass. She was awesome, and then she died. Remember?
Kara,
Kara was so good.
She was the only good thing about it. I like the Affleck. I like the Affleck. I like Kara. I liked Keaton. But I liked the movie. I just didn't like that they could have done so much better than what they given us. And for me, that's what made it was like bad for me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what. And the fact that like James Gunn was like, this is the greatest superhero movie of all time, and they kept it.
He's not trying to get fired.
What's that?
He's not trying to.
I know.
He gotta say it. He gotta say it.
I know. Yeah, and the funny thing is like it got smashed at the box office. Like nobody went to watch it. So
you know what was really telling for me and what James Gunn said. James Gunn was like, "This is the greatest movie I've ever seen," and then he was just like, "The Blue Beetle is going to be a part of my universe." So when he said that,
I was
like, okay, so he doesn't think that that's good at all, or he might be just playing it up. Because if he did, he would have grabbed it because he could do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
So he probably thinks Blue Beetle is like worthy enough to be in his universe, whereas he's like, oh yeah, it's good, go see it, like whatever.
Yeah. I almost put Blue Beetle on here, but I was like, no, I gotta do something different for the fam. So not to be morbid or just not to be like kind of like sad or whatever, but like, Al Pacino only has a couple more films or like time on the camera, right? I mean, he's almost in if he's not in his 80s, he's like about there. I haven't really seen a great Al Pacino flick in a while. Insomnia was like pretty trippy. Rest in peace, Robin Williams. But I just thought this was kind of a cool book to like when I'm talking about like having on your wall, all that good stuff. It's pretty cool to have something like this and be like, whoa, what the hell is that? Is that a picture? I'm like, no, bro, that's a comic book. That's a Scarface. I know there's a Scarface comic book. Get into it. If it's got a yellow label, I mean, forget about it. You know what I mean? So, and like kind of what I was saying earlier, like he doesn't sign books, dude. And if he does, it's like $800 a pop, which honestly, I was okay. So for me, Al Pacino,
$800 to get his signature.
The last time he did a signing, it was like $800, like a signature. Because, dude, it's like you think about it, he's Al fucking Pacino. He don't need to do signings, man. But if he is gonna do it, it's probably gonna be for charity, and he's like one of the greatest actors of that generation. He's Michael Corleone. If I was gonna get something,
you put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, if I was gonna get something signed, it would not be this. It'd be a Godfather something. But that's just me. And his artwork costs more than that statue. Yes, it does. Yeah, it's expensive, but that's just kind of like I don't know. I just thought that'd be kind of fun to put on there. And this is kind of like my dollar bin, quote unquote, like spec. And if it doesn't go up in price if you get the if you're curious about the Authority, if you're curious about actually reading the book and wondering why possibly James Gunn's using this as kind of like one of his teams, the Authority is I can't think of a book where the mantle was passed on from Jordan to Kobe in like a series. When Warren Ellis ended his run with issue 12 as the Jordan of that era, in my opinion, he said, "Here, Kobe, here's the torch," and he passed it off to Mark Millar, who's gone on to do really great stuff. This is the first Mark Millar book I ever read, or a series, I guess. So this Authority #1 obviously has gone up in price because of the the casting. James Gunn's going to do some stuff with the Authority. The 1 through 12 issues were really good, like amazing writing. But when Mark Millar came in and did his thing from issues 13, which is here, through the end, I mean, he kept the story going. It was just as raunchy. It was just as funny, all that good stuff that makes the Authority what it is. Yes, #1 goes for like $40 to $50, raw, 450, 9.8, but you can still find this one in dollar bins because I think people just aren't, either they're not in the know or they just don't, they're just like speculating like everyone else is. I think this there's a couple new intros, there's a new team in this one. If the Authority really gets going down the road, I pick these up all day regardless, because it's a good read. But who knows? This could be kind of this could be one of those $1 to $50, in 3 to 5 years. Who knows? So just something to keep an eye out if you see it.
Is Grifter part of Wildstorm? He is, right?
Yes, he is. He's Wildcats, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. I'm just not too sure where Grifter fits into the, because I know he was Image, but I don't know if Image went with. I don't know if Wildcats went to DC at some point, or if Grifter went to DC.
I think you're right. That's because he's Wildstorm imprint. He was originally Image, but then like they kind of all went off into their own little sections like they always do. But yeah, right.
I just wanted to add that DC has been really kind of pushing him a little bit in the comics. He's been at the forefront of many covers and many like stories.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know. I thought
that's not a bad one either, man.
Yeah. With the Authority, I think with how quirky James Gunn is, we got the Authority. So if we get the Authority, Grifter might
be your next spec play.
Yeah.
Why not? I mean, it's cheap. What's his first appearance?
Wildcats #2.
#2.
Okay. Or #1. It was, I don't know. It was like a. I know there's like a gold edition. Mm-hmm. There's like a crazy numbered edition, but I think Authority and Wildcat and Grifter first appearance. I think those two are the Wildstorm ones to get, because I think James Gunn is definitely going to do something with Grifter. I just don't know when.
Yeah, we should do like a Wildstorm speculation show sometime. You probably know more than that about that.
I mean, that was in that quarter bin when I was a kid.
Grifter.
You know what was also a book that I used to read that I'm surprised Marvel never brought back or anything? Who's that dude? Maybe Bronze Age nerd knows if he's still in the chat. It was this dude with huge muscles, and then he was a kid. He was like a fake he was like a fake Shazam. And he was from Malibu Comics.
I don't know who you're talking about. Fake Shazam.
But he looked more jacked. Like he had like big muscles and a tiny head.
Prime?
Yeah.
Nice call, AOA. Nice call.
Thank you. Yo, why Marvel don't bring him back? They have him. They even have the Earth that he's in.
I don't know. Prime.
I used to read that when I was a kid, and I was just like, man.
I always see that in dollar bins too, man. That's a good point. Huh. Maybe CGI is too expensive. Who knows, man?
They could just put him in a story or throw him in there. I don't know. I thought that was like a big character back in like the 90s. So
No, I remember him, man. Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, it's funny that's not speculated on as much or pushed, but
I mean, I don't blame him. Like who the hell wants to talk about Prime?
I mean, who knows, right? We'll see. And this is my last one before I pass the torch on to Fedora. But Transmetropolitan #1, another Warren Ellis. Like I'd say, like out of the '90s when we kind of got into those like more like I know The Boys didn't come out in the '90s, but like I think of like Preacher. I think of Why the Last Man to a T. I think of just like those like Danger Girl. I guess you could throw in there. Just kind of those late '90s books
Tank
that.
Girl?
What's that?
Tank Girl?
Tank Girl was like earlier '90s, wasn't it?
I don't.
Oh, I'm just thinking like a late '90s where like writers kind of like came out and just did some like really gritty,
edgy stuff. Late
just
90s,
edgy, just different stuff. You know, where the writing really took over the art, I guess you could say.
Garth Ennis had like all his crazy Punisher stuff going on.
Yeah, just like was it where it wasn't so much about like, the powers, but just kind of the overall story of the book. Transmetropolitan, this just makes sense for me. I remember buying this on the shelf, and like I think I was a little too old to understand really what was going on. But if you haven't read this book, it's not really neo noir. It's more cyberpunk. It's pretty political. He's basically a journalist, and anyway, I don't want to give away too much about the book, but this book regularly goes for like 40 to 50, and it's one of like I always feel like when I see it like I haven't gone to Whatnot for a long time, but I remember like when I'd see it on a Whatnot show, I'd be like, oh shit, yeah, I remember that book, or like, oh damn, that's like going for 40 to 50 bucks, I forgot what imprint this was on, but there's not a lot of copies out there that get graded that I see. So I feel like people either hold on to this book or they don't want to sell it. If they sell it, it's for like a lot of money.
I know someone. I went to a friend's house. He's like a customer at Midtown Comics. We became really cool. He's a cool dude. He invited me over his house, and he has Transmetropolitan graded at a 9.8. And he was showing me. He's like, "Yo, look, you know what this is?" And I'm like, "No." So you putting that up is like, wow, like actually, like this is kind of like a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, and this is not like is gonna get optioned or something, but like when you think of like movies that like The Boys coming out, which came out, that comic came out in the early 2000s. There's so many. I feel there's so many more. There's so many other different titles that could come up that just haven't, and I don't know if this ever get optioned, but it almost makes sense with what pops for studios, specifically like Amazon that doesn't own a studio. Vertigo. Okay, thank you, AOA. I always thought it was Dark Horse, but it's Vertigo. Yeah, it went to like it was like DC, and then went to Vertigo, and then went to something else, and like, but and it's a Warren Ellis book, and I know there's controversy with Warren Ellis, but like, dude, he's just a great writer. Like, you can't distinguish, or you can't say that, or whatever. And what's up, Kingdom of Nerds? Thanks for coming through. Follow his YouTube channel. It's pretty fun. They have a good time over there. And Kingdom, I'm gonna put you. I had some cats that are fighting right now. I'm gonna put you in the drawing we have here. That's all the comic books I have. But real quick before I pass the baton over to my homie Fedora, I just want to show real quick. I got everyone and I could find. I was in the chat here for the giveaway at the end of the show.
How many people are in the chat?
Right now we got 16. I only have 14 though in the chat or in the wheel. So if I missed you or if you want to comment, like let me know. But yeah, man, what you got for us today, bro?
Wait, what? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a good show, man. Just weird things that we've been discussing on Reddit about the Pokemon market. So it's gonna be mostly about like graded booster boxes and what I really feel, because everybody's talking about like sealed boost, like keeping sealed booster boxes, and I think kind of like that's what the market is kind of like dictating now, because on the Pokemon investment groups, it's more now about keeping sealed booster boxes than it is about, oh hey, like I got this you know, what blase blah card, like should I invest in this? It's more on like, yo, like is this booster box a good investment now?
Mhm.
And this was crazy. Like we were talking about this on the Pokemon investment groups, and I would say a good amount of people thought that it was stupid. Uh, and we were waiting for whoever won this bid to post in the group and go, "Hey, look what I got," because everybody was waiting to flame this guy. Um, so I don't understand. Great, like let me take this back. I don't think grading booster boxes is a bad idea per se if you're grading vintage. Like I have like three sealed trainer decks, like near mint, um,
Yeah.
and I would grade those because I already know what's in them, right? But we got like a modern Japanese set, $1,000, and who the hell is esports grading? Like what? Like who is
I don't
this?
even know who that is.
Yeah, who's this flim flam company? And then better yet, like $1,200. Like I don't know, man. It's like a Japanese booster box is MSRP like 40-50 bucks, and then you get it graded. I don't know how much it costs to grade that, and
Say
then
$30.
maybe like I don't know. It just seems, I don't know. It seems sketchy. Like I don't really know too much about like the grading process. I know you are kind of more into like CGC,
Yeah.
Beckett,
Yeah.
um, but for me as like somebody that follows it, I just think this is a lot of like this is a lot of hype. Um, so I don't know. I don't know what's your opinion on this.
I have it looks clean. Like I like the way it displays, but I mean, I feel with like graded sealed like cards, right? You only do that because you want authenticated if you with the intention of possibly opening it down the road, or like if you're really into nostalgia and you're like, oh man, I love the thought of having a pack of first edition Pokemon because when I was a kid, that's what I saved all my lunch money for. But for the point you're making is basically like this is a brand new set from a unverified or known. I don't know. I never heard of ESG myself either, but like I don't grade sealed card boxes enough to know if that's a good company to go through or not. I would never do this.
I mean,
I would never buy this.
yeah, like how do they authenticate it? We don't know. And
Yeah.
like people in the Reddit thread, we were trying to like find out like who are these guys? Like this box could be resealed, like
Right.
we don't really know anything about these dudes. And recently I had a friend, she was she was working for this company that I'm not going to name,
Uh-huh.
but and then all I'll say is, I'm not going to name the company, but it's not CGC, it's not PSA, and it's not Beckett, but it was a new company that was trying to use tech to grade cards. And then she was like, yo bro, like all that AI tech stuff, it's flim flam, because when they grade it through the tech, like somebody still has to look it over. So what's the point of even using the AI in the first place? And and this is like a company that had huge backing, like with celebrity endorsements and stuff.
Real quick, I was totally looking at this, and I was gonna talk about that. The guy has 93.5% positive feedback for 248 items. That's like basically like an Uber rating of like 3.5. With
Oh,
that,
is it?
only that it's so bad. I mean, I have like 1,700 or something.
Damn, the chat did that detective work mad quick.
Oh yeah, that's the first thing I looked at as like, because like, and who knows about shill bidding, all that stuff, right? But like, yeah, man, that's it. That's just crazy. That's funny.
I don't really know too much about that, but so this is another thing here, right? So go snowballing into the 151. You got people grading these booster boxes, and then they're going for $1,200 because it's all crazy hype, and it's like sealed. Oh my god, you got to keep it sealed. Or should I buy this sealed booster box? And then you got these clowns on TikTok that are look at all this. Look at all these 151, right? Like look at
Yeah,
all these
so
booster
many.
boxes. These are all $40 MSRP, $40, $50 MSRP, right? And then they're buying it in bulk. I don't really know what the thing is, but these were supposed to be one per customer, and then these are going for $200 for a sealed booster box. And then people with their TikTok shops like, oh yeah, just buy through me. I have the best prices. And it's like, oh, community, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, bro, like you're ripping people off $200 for a $50 booster box. Are you smoking crack up your ass? And then they're like, oh yeah, I love the Poke fan. These guys are actors. They're frauds. Do not buy from any TikTok people, any Instagram live people. Look, I'm pretty sure that there's honest people. This is not me like bashing the honest people, because I know that there's people that do right by the community. But if you're selling, if you're hoarding product and gatekeeping from people who actually want to, break open a box with their kids, and you're spending like you're charging people $200, and it's not even like we the market said that that's how much it was. No, that's how much the sellers, the people, the shops told us it was worth. We didn't go on eBay and bid it up. Like they bought all the product, and they were like, okay, this is what it's worth now,
Yeah.
$150. So I don't know. I'm fired up right now because because it's frustrating where us in the comic book community, we can't really do things like this because the market are like we the buyers, we dictate where our money goes. Where with Pokemon, whenever there's hype, the sellers try and dictate the market.
Yeah.
And
You don't want to be part of an unregulated market where the sellers, um, control what is being sold to the consumer.
yeah, and I have a friend, and if he's watching, I'm sorry, bro, but I gotta say this. He goes onto these TikTok shops, and
That's messed up, man. It's
bro,
unregulated
that's
too. It's
crazy.
unregulated. James, you're in the
James,
giveaway.
god damn.
James
I
Carter
want
is a great. He's on my Sunset the South show. He comes through, and I always love it when he comes through, because he always comes in with like knowledge that I don't know about with the car industry, and just not so much like the process of buying and selling a car, but like the supply and demand, and just kind of like the reality of it. And he drops little tidbits like this, man. That's so kind of like why I enjoy Fedora and my relationship is like, yeah, it's like there's a lot of stuff you can't control in this like market of collectibles because it is unregulated. But I feel like what you bring to the table is an element of like, hey, like not so much buy this, or this is how much this is going for, but this is a good buy for whatever reasons, or don't buy this is stupid, because you need people like this in the community for an unregulated market that there's no oversight in, right? So anyway, and James is one of those other people that I'm glad is in the chat today.
Yeah, but to close
Continue.
this up, I have a friend. He goes on these TikToks, and he messages me, he shows me what he buys. He went on some dude's TikTok and he spent $150. right? So $150 got him not even like a crazy card. It was like a grade of 10 slab of a Umbreon, and it wasn't even like a good Umbreon. And then I checked on eBay, and it was something like, yo, like, was this a good purchase? Look on eBay, it was like a $70-$80 card. And I'm like, okay, well, what else did you buy? And then he said that he bought 3 packs of Pokemon 151. And then they were like, I don't know, like $15 a pop or something like that. And I'm like, geez. So he narrowly made his money because in one of the packs he got a one of one, not like a one of one, but he got like a Master Ball one per box card, like it's like a reverse hollow with like a bunch of Master Balls on it, and it's one per box. And he got like one of the big hits that like everybody was looking for, and it was
Okay.
like raw. It was like $80. But I was just like, bro, listen to me carefully. Do not give these people your money. And he's like, nah, he's a good dude. He does good for the community. And I'm like, no. Like that's all an act. Like, do not do that. For somebody with a straight face to you give them $150 and they give you like a BS like Umbreon card, like come on, bro. But yeah, we could move on.
You're good. You're good.
So our first booster box right now. So you want to know what's so crazy about this? This was like a kind of like a cross promotion Super Mario
Yeah.
Pikachu kind of deal that they had. So this was like MS RP at the time that this was released was $16, 16 or $20 for one. Now, if you want that box sealed, that's $2,000 a pop for the Luigi one and the Mario one. So if you bought these and you kept them sealed,
Yeah.
ching. And if you got the Mario graded PSA 10, I
10
know,
G's.
yeah,
I saw that this morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Doing pretty good.
yeah,
Yeah. Pokemon's crazy, man. Oh, shit.
so
What?
I remember a lot of people in the chat were talking about what box should I buy and keep it sealed. Definitely Pokemon 151 if you could get the Japanese set, and the English set. But also, celebrations. This was a heavily ordered item. Like stores really went ham on ordering this, and there was enough supply for everybody. And since it's like the 25th anniversary, obviously, like they're never gonna reprint this again. So now it's selling sealed $300 to $400, and I think that that's like a really good entry level sealed buy, in my opinion. That one and Pokemon 151, literally like anything that invokes nostalgia with the
Yeah.
original 151, that's always a good bet to keep sealed. So that's my opinion. So this was kind of like the
Wow.
yeah, this was an interesting because we spoke about this last time, and it seems like the Pokemon team up sets are gaining a lot of steam now. I said not to buy the singles or like the alt arts because I feel like there's an abundance of those out there, and were fairly easy to kind of pull. But the booster box, if you got a good amount of money to spend, I don't think it's a bad buy. But at the same time, it's around $2,000, so I don't know. Like I'm on the fence about whether I think like this is good or
Yeah.
bad. I like that one of these kind of like stuff that was kind of had like a big print that nobody really cared about. Everybody's paying attention to it. So, the trickle down economics, obviously, like everything is getting out of people's price range. So they're going to go to like the team ups and the sun and moons. Um, and they also have the artist that did the original art for the vintage base set. So that's another reason why people like it. So it's $2,000
Damn.
sealed, 1,800 sealed. So a lot of people really like it.
Bro, pause real quick. I'm just flabbergasted at these like slides, man. Because you got a, a sealed 151 going for, 1,100 bucks. Oh, if that's going for 1,100 bucks, I wonder how much this would go sealed. 2 grand raw, right? I mean, crazy,
2 grand raw, it'd probably be 5K sealed, probably.
right?
Yeah. So this one, I think if you have $1,500 to spend, I think the EV Heroes box, I think that one is kind of like the one to buy. Honestly, this is like kind of one of the modern darlings of the Moonbryon. Um, so I think that this is like something that people are going to want 20, 30, 40 years down the line, just like from a seal perspective. So
I like
that
that.
that one's not a bad for my opinion, that one's not a bad play. But they're also reprinting the Evolving Skies, whatever set that card came from. I think it was Evolving Skies or something like that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
rumors that it's getting a reprint, so be on the lookout for that, because there's definitely going to be another chance for you guys
to get
to,
it.
yeah.
Oh,
So this one, so normally I talk about manga and anime, and I know a lot of people were not really too happy about the prospect of this book, but I think that there's like another layer to talk about that maybe some people know about, maybe some people don't. So who is Takashi Azuki? Um, and he's been doing pretty good, man. He's kind of like, I would say that he's kind of like a new top artist. His variants are doing pretty well. And then Extreme Venomverse is going the raw. It was 100 right out the gate. Last time I checked, it was about 200. Yeah. So it's a good thing that you. So I saw somebody in the comment highlight it. I don't know what his name is. If you could, yeah, there we go. Yeah, Cody. So I'm gonna get into like the meat of potatoes and why I think, in my opinion, this is happening. Um, Obviously, like anime is going crazy. Um, and he's kind of like an OG uh anime guy from if you could just hit us with the next slide.
oh my bad.
Yep.
Oh, boom! There you go.
And then he did the Spider Punk, um, and it was crazy because I bought this for like $30 at Midtown Comics, and it went for $150. And my friends were like, "Yo, sell it, make the money. It's raw." And I'm like, "Nah, like I'm gonna hold on to it because I believe in the character Spider Punk. Like I read his book, I kind of like it. I think he could really take off." And they're like, "Nah, man, that's crazy." So then I held on to it, and then look what happened, right?
Yeah,
So, you know, this is his 1 in 50 of the first Spider Punk of a popular mangaka. And then hit us with the next slide. So boom, he created Afro Samurai. So Afro Samurai, voiced by Samuel L. Jackson. The manga goes for like I saw it buy it now for like 120, 110. And then if you want Afro Samurai the game sealed, it's 50 bones. And for me, you know, I don't think that it's hype per se, because
yeah.
what he does definitely translates off of Marvel and DC. So if you really like Takashi Azuki, right, definitely buy his game sealed. Like if you really believe in him, right? Like if you're down with Extreme Venomverse and you're down with that 1 in 50 of Spider Punk, um, Afro Samurai the game would be the first, his earliest. I'm here in America. like let's get it popping. I'm here. I'm about to, be influential. So Afro Samurai, the game, sealed, graded. It's $50. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. I don't even know if this is graded. I didn't see any graded, or else I probably would have put it on here.
That's
But
crazy.
like I know, I don't know if Vinny's in the chat, but no, he's not involved with the new DC manga stuff.
That's too bad.
It's some random dude that really didn't. I don't know who that random guy is, but I don't really know. He didn't. The dude doing the DC manga stuff, it came out a while ago, and in my opinion, it just doesn't seem that interesting to me. So I never really read it. But Takashi Azuki, definitely, bro. Buy it sealed, grade it, because I think, it's looking like he's here to stay in like the Marvel. I don't want to talk too much about what I think of his Venom creation or Spider-Punk, but I just wanted to highlight, just to show everybody, like, like some of the naysayers, like, hey, like he's done some pretty notable things, and this is probably why people are spending, this much money
on him.
Yeah, because they probably believe that, with how manga is looking in the States, and Marvel is trying to like bring over some of these influential guys. So he's definitely no small fry, like back where he's from.
Well, I'll say this. I definitely was a naysayer for that Edge of Spider-Verse comic, because all I kept hearing about was it's a ratio of an underordered book with the first appearance of a Venom character.
I agree. But
no one mentioned what you're putting right on this show.
That's why I bought it.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it because all those FOC, blah blah blah. Yeah. I didn't do it because of FOC. I did it because I knew who Takashi Azuki was.
Right.
My friend, I want to get her on the show one day. She's a merchandiser for one of the biggest anime merchandising companies in Japan. So her first work when she was like an intern, she made merchandise for Takashi Azuki. She made merchandise for Afro Samurai. So, so she was like, wow, like that's great, she said, wow, that's great that he's getting a lot of love out there in the States, like that was her. So she was really happy to see him, really, really going good. But I think for like, if you're buying this because it's a ratio of an underordered book, like
you're not collecting, you're just flipping.
Yeah.
That's what turned me off on it. And all that stuff.
Same. I agree with you.
But like I said, man, like you put the nuggets out of why it's probably holding that value around 130. It might not be a bad idea to pick it up. Real quick, again, I want to thank all 15 live that are in the chat. We were at 20 at one point, so I know some people had to take care of the kids, make lunch, all that good stuff. But Fedora talks a lot about anime and a lot of good stuff, which is why I love him coming on the show. And video games specifically, that's a real nice nugget. We've been wanting to get Fedora on the Only the Rarest show as well. I'm gonna plug my Thursday show real quick. Part of the Discord. If you guys could follow, subscribe to our new show. It's Thursdays. We don't talk about comics specifically on the show, but we talk about basically everything else. We're just trying to grow it real quick. Again, we're going to be on a hiatus on this show as well, but we're at 157 right now, trying to get that 160 mark. And it's really, this show was kind of cool about Only the Rarest is like, if you guys want us to talk about something collectible, we'll look into it, and then we'll bring people on every once in a while.
We were talking about those CRT TVs.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot about those, dude.
Yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah,
I totally forgot about that, man. That's hilarious.
Just to mention, I know a lot of guys, like, they post like their market reports and stuff like that. Like me, my social media presence on Instagram is very low. I don't post a lot. I don't put out a lot of content. So if you're interested in what I'm doing, the only way to see it is on this show. You're not going to see me. I don't do appearances on other people's shows. Like, the only way to get this content is through Furbird the Nerd. I'm not going on anybody else's YouTube channels. I don't post. If you have questions, you can follow me and you can shoot me a DM at Fedora.com and we could chat it up. But I have OCD. I don't like putting up too many stories. I don't like putting too many Instagram posts. So if you like the content, see, look, I got 2 posts, bro. I got 2 posts. It look 2. So you could definitely shoot me a message. We could talk anime, manga.
Yeah, he loves it, man. He
whatever.
loves it. Yeah.
So Fist of the North Star. This is the first appearance of Kenshiro. And one recently sold in June 11th. This is how niche these first Shonen Jumps are. $250, which is kind of a cheap buy, but the cover is the cover alone is like, it's epic. Usually they don't really have appealing covers in my opinion, but this is North Star. It was OG. It influenced Street Fighter,
Oh, sure. Yeah.
With Akuma when he does that move where he like the Raging Demon move, that was influenced by Fist of the North Star. So there's a lot of influence in there, man. 240. So what do you think? Is that a buy for you or?
Man, I want to go back to Wajimaya, which is this Japanese grocery store here in Seattle. And I just want to scoop up this weekly shonen and just read one.
Do they sell that over there?
Oh yeah, I've seen it. I see it all the time, man. So like basically we have this Japanese store. It's called Wajimaya. They sell groceries, like Asian groceries, Japanese, like, cookware, all that stuff. But they have a specific bookstore where they sell like Pokemon. They got the Pokemon 151s there behind the counter. But they have it
behind the
counter, right? Because it's Seattle, right? Whatever.
Are they selling MSRP?
I don't know. I just know it's on like the shelf, and I always see it like in plastic. Bro, and when I'm in the Philippines, I'm gonna try and get you some stuff when I'm over there. Obviously Japan's closer to the Philippines than
like
Seattle.
one US dollar is like 50.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah. You can get a breakfast for like $3 and it's gonna fill you for the day. That's kind of like when people ask me, like, oh well, I know the 50 to 1, but how much can you get with like $1 there? And that's kind of what I say. For $3 you're good. You know what I mean? So real quick, we got some new people in the chat. Johnny LJ Galindo, what's going on, brother? And then Matrix Comics in the house. If you like anything like ghostly about comic books, follow my homie Matrix Comics on Instagram. I'm gonna put you guys in the giveaway too. So okay. But yeah, go. I like it, man.
There's no way to get weekly shonen in New York City.
Yeah, I'll check. I maybe like earlier issues or whatever, but I'll definitely check next time I'm in there. I just don't go there very often. It's kind of far. So anyway, but I dig it, man. Like, I've never watched Fist of the North Star, but like I know like he's like one of those like that genre or that specific property is like a mainstay for sure. So
this is City Hunter. This one sold for 120, which is was very modest. It's the first appearance of City Hunter. So I know Jackie Chan did one of the movies for City Hunter, and it's one of those like those buddy cop shows. It was very popular. It was a very popular 80s book, and it did really well. I mean, I don't really have much to say about it other than that it's popular. Jackie Chan did the movie. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I was just reporting that I saw it. I thought that was interesting.
No, that's dope, man. I mean, every time you like do these, it's a brand new, like, I'm always like a step behind, like when you're like talking about, because I'm like, where's that from? Like, where do I know that from? But man, I would say like, when of those genres of media, I know anime's here and it's been here for a long time, but like the way that the anime is just funneled to like get distributed and how you can consume it, it's you can read it for free in some places, right? There's a specific streaming channel for like anime. It's on Netflix. I mean, there's a consumer, especially a younger consumer, like that's 20, that's all they consume. So it's here. It's here to stay for sure. So
So
what's
this one is made by Ichiro Oda. So he's the creator of One Piece. But what's
yeah.
interesting about this is this, and why it's kind of high, is because this is one of his works that he did
Mhm.
that's not One Piece related.
I
So
see.
yeah, so he's really, really iconic. Um, he has the new Netflix One Piece show coming out, uh, and it costs $20 million a show to produce.
Oh shit. Makes
Yeah,
sense.
so so this is like a big production, and Netflix is really, really riding on this for them to work. And obviously, like you could see, people really love this guy. If like this isn't even like anything crazy, it's not a first appearance. I mean, I guess it is a first appearance of like a short story and characters, but it's something that no one really knows about. So for a book to go for $260 when there's not really much going on other than a short story,
Mhm.
it's you know that's pretty good for what that guy does.
Oh shit. Okay,
So
here we go.
so now we're moving into video games. I've always wanted to show Vinny, because I know Vinny's the video game guy. So I
Yeah.
wanted to get into like a little bit into anime video games. So this is Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. And this one is the one that's worth the most. And
Mm.
just a regular complete in box would run you $200. Just the CD is $150, and a 8.5 graded sealed is 3K. Um, so yeah, I don't really know too much about like the prints, first print, second print. I know that's Vinny's thing.
Okay.
But definitely Budokai, when Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1 came out, uh, this was kind of, everybody in the hood was playing this. I'm from the Bronx.
Yeah, dude.
I
Yeah,
know
they were.
Matrix is also from the Bronx, but yeah, there you go, Bronx represent. So all the Bronx kids, when Budokai came out, it would be like 20 of us in our homie's house, all playing Dragon Ball Z
Yeah.
Budokai, the first one. So you know, to your credit, what you were saying, a lot of kids hanging out, playing video games, nostalgic. The little brother and the sister in the background. Mom's parent, the mom and the dad are away for work on after the school day, and we're coming after school, 10, 15 of us deep, going to our friend's house playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai. And and somebody mentioned, oh, yes, it is a common game. And exactly. And $3,000 for a game.
8.5.
Yeah.
Is
So
it is that sorry, is that complete in box or is that sealed? Oh, it's sealed. Oh, Jesus
yeah,
Christ. Think about how rare that is.
yeah. So just to get you an idea of, the nostalgia for this game, and a lot of kids growing up played this. um it definitely shows, even in like just a CD. A CD
Just to
is
play it, man.
yeah.
Yeah. That's way more like that hits nostalgia, that hits like I want to like the playability of the game, and that hits like so many different just like hits, like and for someone to say I won't give this up unless I get 150. The video game market's so much more fascinating to me now than comics are because I feel that video games are so much more rare, even like loose ones, when you go to a store. Like I'll go to one store, like a video game retro store, and they'll have like one copy of Mario All Stars. and then I'll go to another one, and they will have they won't have All Stars, but they'll have like Mario RPG, versus like a comic store. Like I'll see a 181 on the wall at one store, and the next store, and the next store. It just doesn't feel as like rare. I don't know. That's just me, but it might be regional too. So, but man, this is good stuff, dude. This is really good stuff.
Yeah, so we're gonna hit on to the next one. One Piece. So this one is One Piece is about to be a large property.
Yeah.
So, and I think if you're looking to if the Netflix show does well, which I think it might, these prices, in my opinion, are definitely going to be higher. Factory sealed, One Piece Grand Adventure for $250. And this was the one that, when we talk about like One Piece games, this is the one that people played the most when they were kids, and this is the one that that's considered the best one. And it's 2006, so at that time, PlayStation 3 was out, Xbox 360 was out.
Yeah.
So I don't think that many of these were made.
Okay.
Just because it's so late.
Yeah.
Cycle of the Nintendo GameCube, and then we're peaking in on like fifth generation of consoles, fourth or fifth.
Right.
One. So if you could get this sealed, it might not be a bad thing to hold on to long term, especially if the Netflix show does well. And then even the One Piece Game Boy Advance sealed, $188, 33 bids. So One Piece is a huge property, and their games and their titles are low. Like it's not an expensive buy-in. So
yeah, dude, that's hella low. Or you could buy, My Little Pony for 70 bucks.
Yeah,
70 bucks.
You could do that. I wouldn't recommend it.
Here's another thing before we go on to the next slide that I think we talked about too, and I've talked about an OTR with Vinny. The movement away from physical game copies versus digital downloads is like, it's like the newsstand versus direct editions of like 2011. It's moving that way. I don't want to mess with your shit too much, so I'm not going to pull up the slide or the link. But 2022, so last year, had, what was it? The amount of digital downloads was like 80% of consumed throughout PlayStation, PC, Xbox, whatever. The other 20% were physical, copies. Because think about it. Okay, if you're a kid and you got a gift card, you could just stay at home with your Nintendo Switch, your PS5, whatever it is, and you could download that game and have immediate access to that game versus I got to get a ride from mom or dad to the game, to the store, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, Vinny's back in the chat. What up, Vinny? Vinny, we're talking about One Piece. And Fedora is talking about like the buy-in here. Like that's pretty cheap for a sealed book that has a Netflix property attached to it, live action, for a very popular game, or sorry, very popular anime, right?
And most Game Boy Advance games are not sealed. Like most of them are not sealed. You remember, a lot of these things were opened up, so the booklet's gone. So 188 for a game that you probably can't get sealed at most places, especially the Game Boy Advance one. So I like One Piece. I like the property, but none of this matters in my opinion. None of this matters unless the Netflix property blows up. So that's just my opinion. Maybe you can, maybe I don't really know. But Kininku Man, Ultimate Muscle. This is another one. I don't know if it's sealed. Is it sealed? It doesn't look sealed, but $250. 177. you know, 175, 250 complete inbox. I'm wondering what these go for sealed, because this is one of the more popular games, and this one was made by the same people who did WWE No Mercy. They did the WCW versus NWO games that are really popular.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, and so those developers just recently did the new AEW wrestling game, Fight.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
So I think that the last ones sold were in May. So 2 months
It's a long
ago,
time ago, right?
yeah,
So people aren't selling these games, man.
no,
Right?
they're not.
So
They're not. They're hard to get. Yeah, you could just bring us on to the next slide.
oh
Evangelion.
shit. Okay, I
Yeah.
remember this. I remember this shit. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
here's the weird thing. The retro scene is not really popular in Japan. So if you go to Japan, you could find like games for like dirt cheap. So this one is kind of rare because this is a $150 game complete in box. It's going for like 150 to like 120, 100, 100 to 150. Let's just I'll say that. Uh, Evangelion is like a big property. I don't know if these are like these had. I know somebody mentioned in the comments. Some of these didn't have shrink wrap or whatever. Yeah, so I don't really know like how they package these games or if there's any sealed, but this is not a bad buy-in for like a really big anime that most people still watch to this day. It gets referenced a lot too.
Yeah, dude. No, I remember I don't know exactly what I saw this on, but I remember when I did, it was very like well publicized, whether that be like in a Wizard magazine or like commercials growing up as a kid. But when I saw Neon in Evangelion, I was like, oh shit. I didn't watch this at all, but I do remember it for sure.
So now, so we're closing out the show, so I'm just gonna do some like recommendations on that I think people should read. So this one, it's called Blaster Knuckle, and I know Berserk is kind of really big right now. So this is kind of a similar title in a sense that it takes place during it follows the life of a runaway slave. His name is Victor Freeman, and he's hunting demons. You know, he's a demon hunter.
Classic anime drop back as a
Yeah,
demon of some sort, right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. So it's a crazy dark fantasy. Um, you know, you could get the whole set for it's only 3 volumes, and you could get it for $25 to $30. And some of the similar titles are Berserk, Fist of the North Star. If you could hit us with a second slide, so you could get a little bit more information on it. Um, so as you can see, the art is pretty sick. Uh, there we go. Thanks, Vinny, for that.
Yeah, thanks,
See,
Vinny.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. So the author of this book went to high school with the creator of Berserk, so you could really see how both their works influence each other. It's an ultra violent, super ultra violent, very strong language, and it's a really really good dark fantasy. And I thought it was like a 3.5 out of 5. It's a great read. And it's cool to see like a black character in like a manga, because that's something that you don't really see all that often. So I was like, huh,
Right.
that's pretty interesting. Let me see where this goes.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Before we go to the next slide, I want to thank we got an awesome chat going on right now. We got 18 live, which is that's a strong showing for our shows. I want to thank everyone for liking the show. Click subscribe. I try and do giveaways every week. I try and do big ones if we have a pretty big following or a big chat and whatnot. And I want to thank Fedora for coming through with these amazing slides again. Thanks so much, guys. Oh,
so
homunculus. Okay, cool.
so I've been talking about this in our previous chats. Homunculus. This book is not ordered a lot, so But before I talk about that in the next slide, Homunculus, it's a drama, thriller, suspense with a little bit of horror, and some similar titles is Monster. I don't know if anybody read that, or Old Boy. I don't know if
Oh
anybody
boy.
read that either. Yeah, Old Boy. It had like the Korean movie that was actually really good too. But if people aren't familiar with those titles, the best way I could describe it is Inception or Vanilla Sky. And Vanilla Sky in a good way, because that movie, not many people liked it. But yeah, so like those are the best ways that I could describe what this book is. So if you could just hit me with the next slide.
Yes, sir.
So, uh, this chronicles a homeless guy who's sleeping in his car, but he's dressed very nice, very properly, and he sleeps out of his car. Um, he's going through a hard time in life. He meets a guy who offers to pay him $10,000 or $20,000, whatever, to drill a hole in his head. It's called trepanation. Um, so at first he says no, but he's so desperate for money that he seeks out the guy and he lets him drill the hole in his head. And then he's able to see a different plane of existence, spirits, ghosts, whatever. And it's not so much on the horror aspect, but it's more of, because there's no action. There's no action. It's just talking. It's a lot of talking. So if you're here, if you're coming to this book for like action, f shit up, you're not gonna find it here. Just giving you that right now. Um, so it's more about humans and how we interact with each other and what really puts us down that path of, you know, doing things, whether it's to rebel, to hurt others, etc., etc. Yeah, do not try this at home. Um, Hideo Yamamoto, his famous work, what put him on the map, was the manga Ichi the Killer, and the 2001 film was very insane. It was so insane that Supreme, the clothing brand, did a line of T-shirts on it. So
Oh, I did not
yeah,
know that.
yeah. So uh, this book sold out the first week. The first week it came out, my Midtown Comics only had one book. So this is already just to my location had one. So to give you an idea of how much everybody's sleeping on this, it had one, and I think the 42nd Street had like maybe three, and then I had went to Kinokuniya, and they had sold out too.
Hmm.
Then I went to Barnes and Noble just to check. They had sold out too. So this is one of those like TikTok, like the TikTok kids are talking about this book. And what's cool about this one is that prior to its physical release, there was no English version. You could only read this online. And I could have sworn I read it in English when I was in high school, but
Yeah,
I definitely read some of it. And the reason why I probably stopped was because it was translations online.
I
Um,
see.
yeah. So it was like scans. But this is a cult classic. And, you know, if you complete the series uh, and keep buying them, for sure, I think at some point that it's going to be like if you ever wanted to sell it and make some profit, I definitely think that this is going to be the series to do it. And it's a good read. So it's win-win. Like you buy it, it's a great read, and you might be able to profit off of it in the near future. So boom, that's the show. Follow us on Ferdbird at Ferdbird the Nerd, at Fedora Kong, and follow us on those threads. Thread with us, man. We're on here. We don't do the Twitter. It's Twitter's whatever now. It's all about them threads.
Yeah, and I'm gonna do the giveaway real quick. Let's see here. Hold on a second. easier to do it this way. So I don't have the books next to me, but it's 3 copies of Tomb Raider 1, first appearance of Lara Croft. They're not the A covers, but they're the variants. There's like a white cover, some other cover, and like the various arts. They're not perfect 9/8 for sure. They're maybe 9/4s, 9/6s, but there's 3 of them. But I just wanted to highlight who's in the wheel. Even if you left early, which is totally cool, I still left everyone in there. But if you do not see yourself in the wheel, please let me know in the comments here. But I just want to say thanks again, everyone. Click that like button, subscribe, tell your homies about our show. Fedora and I usually do his anime shows like on a Friday, but again with like scheduling and just like I just been beat just with all the content stuff I've been doing lately. I haven't we haven't done a show like that, so I was like, hey, come on through on Sunday. I know you've been talking about some things. I'll try and stream from the Philippines and maybe arrange something there, but it's a 16-hour delay over there. But we'll see. I'm gonna be limited to reception as far as Wi-Fi and whatnot. I'm gonna be chilling on the beach with the homies. So but without further ado, let's pick the winner for today. Oh, Wade. Tortillas and Comics almost won. We got Wade is the winner today. Yeah. So Wade, just hit me up, or I'll hit you up. Here, I'll hit you up right now. Let's see here. At Wade. Oh wait. Busy. Who won the giveaway? Yeah. Oh, Iman. Oh, sorry, man. I didn't see you there. Steve Shush, thanks for joining. I'm sorry I didn't see you guys in the yeah, bro, hella Filipino time, man. Like you're like exact Filipino time. Anyway, congrats. Well, I'll try and do a show, I don't know, a couple weeks while I'm over there. I may do one prior, but for sure this is our last one. Fedora, any closing thoughts before we end the show?
Oh, closing thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't buy from TikTok people. Don't buy from Instagram people. Like, do your own research, and because if you think comics are bad, like these people are predatory. Like it gets worse in the Pokemon world. Like
Yeah.
they'll shake your hand, they'll call you family, and then they'll beat you with a lead pipe.
That's
yeah.
a New York City talk right there. Beat you with a lead pipe.
yeah, no, they really would. And I can't stress how with Pokemon, go on the Reddit, the Reddit, join every Reddit, sign up for every forum, like go to every YouTuber you know, because educating yourself in the Pokemon hobby is crucial. Because I'm telling you, like, if you're just joining in, I have friends who buy from these TikTokers who spend $100, $150, $200, and they get nothing when they could get a super awesome card that's gonna appreciate in value for maybe around the same that they spent or less. You know, so
Yeah.
you know, don't let anybody selling you anything influence you. And on the comics, don't buy My Little Pony. I'm disappointed. Now, you have no idea how disappointed I am in the community that like we're even like this is even a subject. My Little Pony, like what are we doing? That like that's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like look, no disrespect to the people putting that out there. I don't mean no bad energy, but we can't be grown men talking about My Little Pony. Oh
Yeah,
my
it's in the
God,
kids section, man. Like, don't like that's kind of creepy if you're buying My Little Pony, and it's not really fair if you're flipping it. It's my opinion, but no, for real. I guess my closing thoughts for the show is again, like we had an awesome chat today. The content was amazing. Fedora, you always like keep me like glued to like I'm always looking at your shit, man, because like I love it. I don't understand it, so I'm getting knowledge from it.
Mhm.
I'm slowly kind of diving into that, but the nice thing about this is like, everyone, I would say like don't dive in with $300 in your pocket and burn it. Like dive in with like 50 and just find out if you like some of the content we're talking about. I know comic books is the main thing, but like video games, like I found like a World of Warcraft sealed original that's not really great condition, but I paid $6 for it. If I make money on it, great. If I don't, it's $6 and I got a cool little World of Warcraft thing. With some of the anime stuff that you guys Fedora's been talking about lately, just buy a $9 anime and read it and see if you like it. If you don't, give it to some kid who may like it, or do a giveaway on the show or on whoever's show, whatever. But again, if you all could like, subscribe. We're trying to get to 300 so far. I'll see you guys in a couple weeks at least. And thank you, Fedora, again. That is our show. And I'll see you guys soon.
Stop with the mic.